Good morning, Roll Gang. It's time for another week of Weekday Wake and Bakes, coming to you live at your new time slot, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. What is up, Roll Gang? It is your host, Processor Sky, here with a brand new jam-packed episode of Weekday Wake and Bakes to get this party started here on a motivational Monday. I am so excited to share some motivational quotes with you guys, Roll Gang, while we smoke up some herb and chat about some cannabis content, just like we do every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. I am so appreciative for everybody tuning in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Tuning into the show. What is poppin' this morning? It is a beautiful Halloween morning. Spooky, spooky day. I should have actually made a Halloween special, a little spook special, maybe told some Halloween scary stories, but maybe I can do that tomorrow with my super special guest. I'm gonna leave that up for surprise though, Roll Gang. Keep tuned in to the Rolling Spoon story for the latest announcement of the next guest coming on the show tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Super excited, but also excited to get on into these motivational quotes from Tom Brady, Albert Einstein, Babe Ruth, the Buddha, and your Processor Sky with his cannabis-themed canna quote of the week. So excited to dive on into this, but before we do, while I roll up some of this unbelievable Gelato 33, I have some beautiful herb to smoke up this morning and roll up with my Reefer Rangers Rolling Spoon. Boom, baby. Look at that nug. Oh, some gelato on the show this morning. But first and foremost, a quick shout to the sponsors of the show because they make it happen for the Weekday Wake and Bake and help out you guys. Oaksterdam University, the first ever cannabis college and the place to go to claim your stake in this budding industry. If you guys are trying to learn how to cultivate some cannabis in your garage, maybe do a little bit home grow, there is a whole entire course with professional cannabis cultivators just to teach you guys how to grow in your house. Go to their website and check out their home grow course. It is an absolute elite way to learn how to grow cannabis from some of the best in the world. My professor, Ed Rosenthal, wrote a book on cannabis cultivation, literally wrote the book. And it was so amazing to be able to learn from him. Oaksterdam University, the Harvard of cannabis, is the place to go to boost your knowledge in this amazing, magical, budding industry. Use promo code Rolling Spoon for 10% off your tuition. Still a couple $100 off of your tuition. Little Rolling Spoon scholarship, if you will, helping you to get your cannabis education and helping you to roll a dime every time. Let's see how your processor does it this morning. So instead of pinching the herb out of my grinder or trying to dump it onto my paper, I'm going to use my rolling spoon to evenly procure my herb throughout the paper. Make sure the distribution is perfect, because if we don't have a perfect distribution, we can't have a perfect burn once we light it up. So pour it into the paper, use the straight edge of the rolling spoon to even out the distribution even more, and then roll it up. You know how we do every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time now instead of 8 a.m. Yo, thank you to the Roll Gangsters tuning in for being so lenient. The new time slot, I hope it treats everybody well. I had to do it. I was up until 1 o'clock in the morning working. So, 8 a.m. start time would have been a little bit rough. I was still in bed at 8 a.m., but I had enough time to come down here, write up a couple of these quotes, and really prep for the show this morning. So, 9 a.m. Pacific every weekday morning now, rolling up with my cannabis multi-tool, the original rolling spoon. See, I can use the poker side to go in and poke the rest of the joint. And a lot of people don't know the shape of the back end of the tip is patented for locking joints. So you can fold it in a succession of folds in a circular motion using the poker side and lock your joint so that all of the smoking material remains inside the paper whenever you're storing it, you know? It's a perfect little ear situation. It can fall out, throw it around, woo! And it's not going anywhere. Boom. So without further ado, Roll Gang, let's spark this baby up. I hope you guys are sparking up wherever you are, tuning in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Wherever you are, it's time to spark. Let's get it going. It is a motivational Monday here on the Weekday Wake and Bake, which means it's the perfect time to get lit for this upcoming week. We're going to get motivated and talk some philosophy and finish the show on a canna quote, cannabis philosophical quote, to get motivated for this week, you know? We got to get fired up to go chase our dreams and our will to power. So the first quote here on this Motivational Monday is a quote from the GOAT, Tom Brady. A quote from the GOAT. Tom Brady, the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and 7-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots and the Buccaneers. Tom Brady says, sometimes in life, the biggest challenges end up being the best things in your life. You know, super simple verbiage. Super simple quote. You know, there is a lot of good shit going on in Tom Brady's brain. He might not be the most well-spoken individual, but he's one of the most talented and advanced human beings that is in the world. You know, he does something that clearly nobody else could do, or they would be doing it. An unbelievably motivated, self-motivated individual has won more Super Bowls than any single team in NFL history. Tom Brady says sometimes in life, the biggest challenges end up being the best things in your life. So whenever you're faced with adversity this week, today, you know, when you're faced with adversity, remember that Tom Brady reminded you that the biggest challenges are sometimes the best things in life. You know, adversity is not your enemy. It may feel hard, but the harder you feel the moment is, the more resiliency you have the opportunity to show. So, show the world, and more importantly, show yourself how resilient you are in the face of adversity this week, because Tom Brady says, sometimes in life, the biggest challenges end up being the best things in your life. Great motivational quote from the GOAT, Tom Brady, here on this Motivational Monday episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake, brought to you by WWnB University and the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool. The next motivational quote comes from one of the greatest scientists of all time, Albert Einstein, says, strive not to be successful, but rather to be of value. Strive not to be successful, but rather to be of value. And the magic of this quote, Roll Gang, is you decide what's valuable. That's my favorite part of it. You know, it's not actually part of the quote, but what is value? Be of value. Super vague, super ambiguous. Guess what? You're the only one that has the answer. If value means going off to the middle of the woods and being alone forever, you know, that's not my will to power or many others, but if it's yours, that's the only thing valuable. So really dig deep, find out what's valuable to you, whether it's money, whether it's love, whether it's happiness or entertainment. Find out what's valuable to you, family, and give yourself to it completely, you know. Don't try to be successful. Just make sure that you're providing value in your sense of the word, and you'll be living a fulfilled life. You know, that is what leads to self-fulfillment, is knowing and claiming the value of your own actions. It's accountability, you know. Albert Einstein with a banger motivational quote, strive not to be successful, but rather to be of value. Woo! I hope everybody's smoking this morning. This gelato's getting me so fucked up. A little bit stronger than what I normally smoke on the show. Absolutely perfect joint, though. Rolled up by your processor and the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool. The next quote here on this Motivational Monday of the Weekday Wake and Bake comes from the legendary Hall of Fame baseball player, Babe Ruth. So famous and advanced, they named a candy bar after him. The original New York Yankee. Babe Ruth says, every strike brings me closer to the next home run. Every strike brings me closer to the next home run. You know, a lot of these quotes are very similar, Roll Gang. Adversity is your friend. You have all of these legends just claiming to you. You know, we can take it as a fact. Extract the crack from all of these quotes. Every strike, meaning adversity. Obviously, if you're a baseball player, you don't want to get struck out. But every strike brings me closer to the next home run, says Babe Ruth. So he's not scared of strikes. In fact, he invites strikes because he knows he has to take a bunch of strikes, a bunch of swings and misses before he eventually can crank one out of the park. You know, in order to have success, you must have opportunity. And obviously from the last quote, success is only what you determine, but make sure you're going after what it is you desire. You know, it's really easy to talk, but it's also really easy to fail. And it's really great when you do fail. You know, Roll Gang, it's really easy to fail. Just give it a try, you know, and it is so okay to fail. You will get paid in value to fail because you cannot fail forever. One of your attempts will be successful. And if you're trying for something you love, if you're going after something you're passionate about, for Babe Ruth, it's hitting home runs. But he's not afraid of the strikes in order to get to the home run. So don't be afraid of adversity or failure. It's your best friend, believe it or not. It's the easiest way to get to where you're going, is to try and fail, try and fail, try and fail, try and succeed. You know, those failures will teach you how to get to your success, your version of success. So, Babe Ruth with a banger. Every strike brings me closer to the next home run. Every adversity in your life brings you closer to who you want to be. Roll gangster. The last two quotes come from the Buddha and the Processor. But before I get on into it, shout out Oaksterdam University, the original cannabis college and Harvard of this amazing plant. Guys, if you are trying to claim your stake in this industry, learn about how to grow some pot. Learn about how to sell some pot. Oaksterdam University is the place to go to put a legitimate source on your resume that claimed that you are committed to this industry. It got me my job. Putting Oaksterdam University education on my resume made me much more attractive to the best dispensary in Las Vegas, Medizin, the sister company of Planet 13, the largest in the world. At Medizin, we have the benefits of the biggest dispensary in the world, but the intimacy of a nice local dispensary. And the only reason I was able to get my job there is because I had Oaksterdam University, the most reputable and famous cannabis college in the world, on my resume. Go and get it for yours and use promo code Rolling Spoon, one word, for 10% off your cannabis industry education. And go learn about this amazing plant today. But shout out the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool, helping you not only to get educated in cannabis, but helping you to roll a dime every time, just like I do every weekday morning here on the Weekday Wake and Bake, brought to you by the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool. So the next quote here on this Motivational Monday of the Weekday Wake and Bake, while I spark up my Wake and Bake again. Man, I yap too much on this show to keep it lit the whole time. But the Buddha says, the mind is everything. What you think is what you become. All of these kind of tie back into the same philosophies. Albert Einstein said, strive not to be successful, but rather to be of value. And the mind is everything. What you think, you become. So, here's Buddha saying, you invent yourself and reinvent yourself and reinvent yourself day after day after day. New thoughts equals new you. All the shit that you know today that you didn't know 5 years ago, that makes you so different from the person you were 5 years ago, that knowledge is the biggest difference. What you know is what you are. So put your thoughts in the right places, says the Buddha, because what you think is what you become. The mind is everything. Mental health is as important today as it has ever been in human history. Listen to the Buddha, ladies and gentlemen. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. So think about what I call it the overman, the Ubermensch, per Nietzsche, my favorite philosopher. The Ubermensch is the perfect version of you that you will never be. Imagine yourself at the top of the top, to the highest of your potential. We can never reach our maximum potential. We're already too late. We've already fucked up too many times. But the overman, the bigger version of ourselves that has never made a mistake in climbing to the place that they want to go, listen to them. That version of you want to ask yourself, what would they do? What you want to become, what you think you want to become is what you will become. That is what you're leading towards. So make sure you set goals for yourself. have an idea of where you're going, and mostly what you love. Because love is the roadmap to life. You know, you're just following what it is, trying to reach that thing that you love. But every human, you and I, have completely different destinations. So how could we use the same directions? You know, find your way, Roll Gang. It's all up here. You got this. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. From the Buddha. And the last quote, your Canna quote, written by the least reputable source on this list by a grand mile, trying to compete with Buddha, Babe Ruth, Albert Einstein, and Tom fucking Brady. The fifth quote comes from your host of the Weekday Wake and Bake, Processor Sky. The final quote on this Motivational Monday episode: if each day is a bong rip, make sure you clear the bowl. If each day is a bong rip, make sure you clear the bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to leave tomorrow super fresh for you to rip another bowl. You don't want to leave any green in the bowl because tonight it just gets washed and flushed. You want to milk every bit out of every day. Don't rip the ashes. Don't rip too hard. You know, you don't want to re-spark the ashes. You don't want to leave any greens. Just make sure you clear the bowl. You clear it out. Slide that bowl piece in for tomorrow, leaving yourself in a good position to tackle tomorrow and clear tomorrow's bowl as well. You know, we cleared yesterday's bowl. We're going to clear the fuck out of today's bowl and have a fresh bowl for tomorrow. You know, if each day is a bong rip, make sure you clear the bowl, ladies and gentlemen. Your Canna quote from Processor Sky this week. It is an absolute blessing to get to chat with you every weekday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, the new time slot. I am so excited to be here with you guys. Got my juice back a little bit. Got my swagger back. Because last week, man, I did prove myself my adversity. Because if I was going to call sick, I would have called sick last week. You know, I don't know how you guys sat through those episodes, but I appreciate you for doing it and hanging in there with your Processor. I will see you every weekday morning at 9 a.m. from here on out. Today has been a great Motivational Monday episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake, and we have a supremely special, royal guest for tomorrow's Chirpy Tuesday. Make sure you tune in, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. It is great to wake and bake with the Roll Gangsters. I will see you tomorrow morning to spark up a fresh one. Make sure, if today is a bong rip, clear that shit, Roll Gang. Clear that baby. Rip that shit the whole way through and send those ashes into the bong water. Fuck it. Let's leave it all out there today and end this week, Roll Gang. Gotta get fired up. Motivational Monday. So much love to the Roll Gangsters from your Processor Sky. Mwah! Have a great Motivational Monday, Roll Gang.